motherfuck, noise. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, noise. Smoking weed, doing coke, drinking beers, rolling fatties, smoking blunts. Who smoked the blunts? We smoked the blunts. Rolling blunts and smoking blunts.
Let me get a nickel back.
$15, little man. Put that shit in my hand. If you don't, honey doesn't show you. Oh me, my jungle love.
Yeah.
Oh.
How's it going? TowerCast podcast. As you can see, we're just ripping off Kevin Smith here.
Back again.
We're back again, giving you guys all what you love and need. Some support from Tower, and we're here to talk about a very loving movie. I would call it a love letter to a man who I would feel inspires us all. I mean, right? This
Mr.
guy,
Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith.
I'd say so, yeah.
Definitely. We're here back again with Brendan and Jeremy.
Brendan Lee has graced us with his presence again, and we have what's your name, man? I've never met you before.
Jeremy Long.
Jeremy Long. Not close to Justin Long, but just enough to get him. We got him. But this is, I guess you could say, this is Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier right here in the presence, in the flesh. So
the original cast for Snowball Effect.
Snowball Effect. Yeah.
Back again with Austin Young, the co-writer, director of Snowball. How you doing, Austin?
Good. Yeah, I'm the writer director.
Tell us about this film, man.
This film came about to fruition because it was a class project. I was currently going to school at EPCC, and I wouldn't say it was our final. I think it was more like our midterm. We each had to write a 10 to 12 page script. Everybody had to write one. And I remember that me and Carlos had to take a meeting with somebody the day before it was due. And I literally just, for days, I couldn't come up with an idea, and I couldn't come up with one. And me and him were talking. I think we was like at Village Inn. You know what? I think we were meeting Michael for the first time.
Oh, really?
Now that I think about it, yeah.
Origins.
And just thinking about the idea, and we kind of threw the idea around. That's when I came up with it and wrote it the night before it was due. And we liked it enough to where we kind of just adjusted it and turned it into a Tower.
And this was your director debut, right?
Yeah.
How did you start writing it? Like, you didn't get inspired? You didn't start watching movies of Kevin Smith?
No, I think just based off the idea that we had. I think what ended up happening was I kind of wrote the bare bones of it. Okay. And then I gave it to Carlos, and he really flushed it out a whole lot. And I had no idea how to
Carlos does, man.
How to format a script or anything. So Carlos kind of took it from there.
On a scale of Kevin to Smith, how big of a fan are you?
From like 1 to
scale. Kevin Smith.
I'm sorry.
I'm a Kevin Smith man. Yeah, man.
Okay.
From like 1 to 10, is he?
Pretty high up there, man. Really inspiring.
Because I almost feel stupid asking you why did you do this, but what was like I want to make a Kevin Smith essentially biopic.
I mean, I think Kevin Smith is an inspiration to a lot of people who want to make films and indie films.
Oh yeah.
Just because of where he came from, there's people like Kevin
Jersey?
Smith, Robert Rodriguez, literally coming from nothing and doing everything they can to make their dreams come true. So he's been a big inspiration for me just from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us about his audition, Brendan.
Tell us about the actors here, man.
We're talking about your audition for this one, man.
I saw it actually.
Yeah, we were just.
Oh yeah, I had to go back and look it up just to show these guys your.
This
audition,
guy
man.
went. Can I say he went all out of his way?
Dude, we have to talk about
to just recreate a scene from Clerks, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, elaborate on that, man.
I remember seeing the call on Facebook, and I was like, hey, I really like Clerks. I really like Scott Mosier and Kevin Smith, and so I just busted that scene from did you guys send that to me, or did I just pull?
I think we asked for monologues and you sent that in.
It was. Yeah. And it was around the time I think Kevin Smith had his heart attack. I remember listening to all the podcasts and stuff. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna lose him. I'm so scared. And he was always just one of my big influences as a kid too. I grew up watching, as funny as it is to say, watching Clerks and Dogma, all of them. Jane Silent.
We all did.
Dogma, man.
In 4th grade and 5th grade, renting them from Hollywood Video.
The days, man.
Or Blockbuster.
Yeah,
Blockbuster.
Yeah, mine was Hollywood Video.
Oh really?
Oh, okay.
I went for Hollywood Video once for Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
I loved it. I was like, oh, I'm jealous.
I just went to Hollywood
I got
Video
Monsters
for
Ball.
what was it, Gamer Zone?
Yeah, that's the big reason why I was a Hollywood Video dude.
Stop, you guys.
Yeah.
The nostalgia.
But yeah, so I did the audition, and I was really, really excited to do it. Did it in black and white and everything.
These guys loved it.
Because
man.
you did the
Yeah.
Snowball monologue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I was lacking was the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't have
Explain the title of the film, Snowball Effect.
Yeah, so Snowball Effect, They made a documentary about the making of Clerks, and the name of the documentary is The Snowball Effect.
Nice.
So kind of took inspiration.
And that's a really good documentary, actually.
Yeah, it really is. And I think you can probably find it on YouTube or something.
And how did Jeremy come along?
Well, I'm always on Facebook. I'm on a Facebook group about
because he's been in a couple of our short films
local
too.
El Paso
Definitely
productions, and whenever there's a movie that looks interesting, I kind of have discerning tastes as to which movies I'm in.
I feel you.
Whenever there's a movie that looks interesting, I try out for it.
And what got your attention for this one?
What got my attention for this one is that
Did you smell the Kevin Smith all over it?
yeah, playing Kevin Smith seemed like it would be interesting.
What's that like?
Yeah.
Playing Kevin Smith?
Like, yeah, well, that sounds really silly, but like,
It's a little
did
heavy.
you like? Yeah, like, what did? Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah, you're the actor.
No,
I'll let you do. Like, how? Like, did you like? Because you actually, because you mentioned that you were playing not the Kevin Smith we know as him now, but you were playing like a more stern,
Pre-weed Kevin Smith.
Pre-weed
Yeah.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah, you could definitely see that.
Yeah.
And don't be too humble, man.
Yeah, I saw the auditions to play Scott Mosier and Kevin Smith, and I thought, I'm schlubby and fat, so I'm schlubby and fat and an actor, so why not? But yeah, I did my audition. I sent it in.
Did you send it in, or did you have to audition in front of these guys?
No, I sent it in. I made a movie of myself. I put a backwards hat on and did the line. It's a line from, I think, the first evening with Kevin Smith, where he talks about talking with John Peters, and John Peters giving him the 3 things that he didn't want to do with Superman: the no costume, no flying, and has to fight a giant spider. And I did that bit, and I sent it in to them. Actually, I posted it on my Facebook page in a private link, because that's what I do with a lot of auditions. I kind of don't want people to see them. And also because I say a slur in that.
I feel you.
Yeah,
so
tricky.
it's the if anyone's interested, it's the F slur. But it's me quoting someone, so it's okay.
For art. It's for art.
Yeah. But yeah, it was, I did that and I sent it in. Felt pretty good. And what happens usually when I audition is I kind of forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd actually auditioned for a movie recently. It's a voice role where I auditioned for the role of God.
Okay.
And my audition for that was basically I did my Ian McKellen voice.
Can we hear that real
Can
quick?
we hear your
Yeah, I wanna
voices,
hear
man?
this.
Because you actually did some cool voices before we started recording, and I just feel like...
You'll check your...
You want me to do Ian McKellen?
Yeah.
Yes.
You should have killed me when you had the chance, Charles.
Dude.
Whoa, okay. I like that.
Nice.
Do your Dr. Claw.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
That's crazy,
Next
dude.
time.
That's actually really good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
You should do one of those YouTube videos where like people do like
Yeah.
27 voices in like 5 minutes or something.
You definitely pull it off.
Did you feel like oh man, like excitement to step into this? Because you must have, are you like a huge Kevin Smith fan, or?
Yeah, I am. I was more so in my youth. Then I kind of dropped off, and now I'm kind of back on, which is the same with a lot of the stuff that I like. But yeah, people like him and Robert Rodriguez and I'm blanking on his name.
Any of the '90s people, huh?
Yeah, the '90s people.
Yeah, that's true.
And even going back as far as George Romero and Tobe Hooper, where it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
Fuck everyone. I'm going to make a movie.
Yes.
It's going to be me and my friends making a movie.
None
and
of
it's
the
gonna be
Living Dead and
big.
Clerks do have like a similar vibe, I guess. Yeah, like they were just like
Yeah.
shot, and I get you. Okay.
They don't look big, but they're good movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Talk about Kevin Smith, man. Did anybody tell you about your goatee? Did anybody notice it?
You mean back when I had it?
Yeah. So now they have to fill it in a little bit.
Yeah,
Like Kevin Smith.
When I got the call from you guys that I would be playing him,
Yeah, just shaved.
I realized, should I grow out my beard? And I thought, yeah. And I asked you guys, and you said, yeah. But I couldn't grow it out fast enough. Like, it isn't the thick, luxurious, manly beard as it is now. Yeah, my Russian prince beard. Oh God!
It works.
I should shampoo this thing off. Jesus Christ!
Did you guys?
But
I
yeah,
guess, go ahead.
I couldn't grow it fast enough, so you guys had to color it in.
That's movie business.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think in the restaurant we had to color it in.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they say anything?
Not because we separated ourselves from like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
So we don't get any like the paint on the food.
And my hair was longer, and
Yeah.
what you'll notice about me is that even though I'm relatively young, I'm 35. I'm graying in places.
Got
Like
that salt
my
and pepper going.
It makes you look more wise.
my mom and dad both grayed early, so
Works in the family. It's in the
yeah, it runs
genes.
in the family. So sometimes when I do roles, I have to darken my hair, both face and head, to make it to make myself look my age.
I'll say
Yeah,
this: you guys, well, you for sure, because you had your darker hair and stuff like that. I didn't even recognize you, dude. I'll be real with you. I didn't.
Yeah,
no,
the-
no, I was telling. I forgot who I told it to.
Yeah, I think you were telling me.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you know what's weird? Like, I've seen that movie 3 times.
know what's
and
funny?
I just realized, I have to change it because of that. I just realized that it was you. I'm like, whoa, like, what? So he's playing Kevin Smith. What was it? What did you do to play Scott Mosier? Somebody who, like, not a lot of people.
the Moj.
The Moj.
Digging up information on him was actually pretty hard. I had to like scour all over interviews and podcasts and the Smodcasts.
Because he's a character, like Kevin Smith. He's also a pretty.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a personality.
Yeah, listening to him talk on the Smodcasts, watching all his little cameo scenes and all of his all the films
Okay.
he always shows up typically. His scene in Clerks, of course. But it was just reading up on
Just trying to.
what him and Kevin did when they were in college.
Mhm.
At that
Oh.
age, I was trying to find pictures of him.
What did you
without a
find?
beard. That Kevin was more of the I think the procrastinator.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
And Scott was the
Another good reason why I'm playing
Yeah.
Kevin Smith.
I think you guys really
Destination
captured
is
that,
finest.
like, on,
Yeah,
on,
they
on
really-
screen.
Yeah, I remember working at Alamo in the kitchen. I was like always prepping stuff or making popcorn or whatever, and listening to the Smodcast and just trying to sound like Scott in my
Nice.
brain over and over again. I forgot already. It's been such a while, and I've done so many other things. So I've kind of like put it in the files. I have to like dig it up, like the one episode of SpongeBob.
Start in the hard drive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in there, but yeah, asking the questions, bringing it all up again. I'm like, wow, yeah. So it was a lot of fun, though. I love it. Was a lot of fun. It was a big like labor of love project as well because I'm just a big fan and inspired by them.
And fun fact, Scott, we mentioned it. Scott Mosier recently did director debut. That was director
Yeah.
debut.
Yes, he co-directed the Grinch.
That came out
animated.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
that's pretty cool, huh? That he's
Yeah,
gone to that point.
I'm super proud of him.
Yeah.
He's, usually the producer.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's filling the shoes of a director now.
What was the set like then? Once you had the location, like,
What did you guys film?
Yeah, where did you guys film? Actually?
Yeah, so this was essentially filmed in 2 locations. We filmed at a diner in the West Side called EJ's Diner.
Classic.
And we also got to film at the same house that we filmed Rooster's Beak at for the green screen footage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
The voiceover
Yeah.
for sure.
It was pretty fun to shoot on that date. But the diner, I mean, that day for set was a little bit hectic just because we were limited on time. I think we went in on a Saturday or Friday, like late afternoon, like 7, 8 o'clock at night, because they said you can come in like, you know, once we're dying down until we close up. So I think towards like when the little montage is going on in the film, the guy who's cleaning, like that comes out. He's like, yeah, that was actually working, like cleaning up for the day, like trying to get out of there. So we were a little rushed, cramped on space a little bit too. I remember at the beginning where the camera kind of pushes in on him. Eric's like sitting on the booth and is like pushing the camera like towards him, like against the table and stuff like that. But I mean, other than that, it was pretty fun. The day at the green screen footage too was pretty simple. It was like 2-3 hours, but it was fun though because it was just a couple of us there, and the 2 actors. I think what took the longest more than anything was them being able to move their mouths to them doing their voiceover stuff, which was pretty fun. And I mean, it was pretty flawless, I'd like to think, for set. We had Nerf guns on set too to shoot it on.
How did you
the day we were doing the green screen stuff?
How did you do that scene? Like, was he like saying the words and they were trying to mouth it, or them just?
Didn't we just say the words in the diner? Because that's what I remember doing.
Yeah, because
so what were they hearing, or what were?
So essentially, the reason we did it at the diner is I still wanted like the diner noise in the background. Mm-hmm. So while we were at the diner, really quick, we had them record those lines.
Smart, yeah.
And then that night, I had to get the audio. I think I put it like on my phone or something, and then we just played it over a speaker, so they could like follow along and stuff like that.
Okay, that's that came out pretty good for sure. Yeah. How was production for you guys? Did you guys mesh really quick, or?
We're friends.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, I walked in. I was like, "Hey, it's Jeremy."
Yeah. Yeah.
We've known each other for years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
The first time I met you, and I didn't know it was you until we met again a little later, is when we were at a Comic-Con, and you were, I forget who I was, but you were Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown from Death Clock.
Wow.
Full makeup.
Wow.
Full character.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Never broke character.
I believe it.
Never broke character.
I believe it.
I do cocaine.
Oh, my God.
All day long.
I believe it. That's awesome.
I went to bed that night and heard his voice in my head.
No way.
Like, get out of my head.
Yeah.
That's another person who has influenced me as a writer and performer, is Brendan Small.
Oh, yeah.
Because he, comedically, he's really awesome. Like, you hear him on shows like Comedy Bang Bang, and just, he's kind of a jack of all trades, like music, directing, writing, acting. I'm a fan of his.
Nice.
Yeah.
For you? Did you mesh with him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jeremy's freaking amazing. He's one of the coolest dudes, without a doubt, and throughout the whole city of El Paso. I love Jeremy. He's the best. We always ran into each other. He's like, "Hey, it's Jeremy." And whenever I worked at Target, it was always like, "Hey, it's Jeremy." We would always run into each other.
Any hiccups?
Yeah.
Any...
learning lines or something? I think I was stumbling a little bit because I know I was like working a lot at the time, so I was like, "Oh man, I should have practiced this a little bit more." And it was right in between the time that I was actually taking my acting classes, so I was still learning how to do things better.
The mesh was there, man.
Yeah, but no, it was great to be with Jeremy and somebody that knew. And then Stephanie Toth was also there, who I've known for years as well.
You knew Steph?
Yeah. Yeah, I knew Steph when I showed up there as well. I was like, "Hey, it's Steph." So it was a really familiar setting with my actors as well. So
this is a proper tribute in many levels, because not only did you essentially like make a little like slice of their life kind of movie where it's like, hey, this could have happened, like, you know, this is a conversation they could have had, but also because I know how you talk about movies, not just about movies we like, but like about production and Tower and stuff like that. So like I figured like, well, especially at the end, like I kind of, did you relate more to Scott or did you relate more to Kevin Smith?
I relate more to Scott than anything. Like the line in the film where he says like, "You know, I'm not an idea man." Like I say that all the time because I'm not a writer. Like I'm personally not a creative. That's why.
You wrote the script though, right?
Yeah. Like I know they laugh at me, but I don't call myself a writer director. I've written and directed 2 films, and that'll probably be it. I know Carlos is probably going to kill me for saying that, but I'm not a creative. I don't see myself as a creative. I'm more of a technical guy. That's mine, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
I'm more of a technical guy, and to me, that's why I love editing, because that's when I can really throw my creative juices into it. So, I mean, yeah, I really can. Yeah. But that's why I think I relate more to Scott than anything, because he's really... I mean, look at Scott. He's been in the industry for, 20 years, and he's finally able to direct something.
Yeah.
So I'm more on that type, producing, editing, stuff like that. So, I mean, that line in the film legitimately came from conversations I have with Carlos all the time.
I see that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess what I was gonna say, like, did you guys feel like a good energy on set? Like, was it always like pushing each other forward? Was there anything that you guys had to overcome? Because I mean, pretty tight location, pretty tight script. Like, was it a pretty breezy shoot, or was it?
It was, yeah. Like, everyone was cool. No one was an asshole.
That's good.
It was, yeah, one of the shortest shoots I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my shoots are, I think the longest one was like 2-3 days.
How long have you been acting?
Look like you've been at it for a while, man.
That's interesting.
Or you dabbled with other things. Sorry. No, you're good.
It's interesting. I actually brought notes about this.
Really? Go ahead, pull them out.
Sell yourself right here, man.
Because I thought you might ask this.
He's like, I came
That's good,
prepared.
man.
I like.
I'm
this.
forgetful too, dude.
Dude, look.
I got short-term memory.
I made a short in 1996
Oh, really?
on film. Like, I forget what millimeter, but it's film.
Whoa. Okay.
It's on film stock.
Okay. Filmmaker.
It was when I was 12.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was because at a very early age, I was a cinephile.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like, oh, I like movies. I like watching movies. No, I was a fucking nerd about it.
Yeah.
Obsessed to
Like-
another level.
And one of my early influences was silent films.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I just liked them
Which
ever
ones?
since I was a kid. Started out like Charlie Chaplin,
Nice.
Dr. Caligari,
Yes.
Metropolis, Nosferatu, stuff
Yes.
like that.
What was it about the sign? Would you like do your own dialogue? Just
Oh, it
or
was-
what was it?
I don't know.
That's
just,
interesting.
Just because I've always liked weird stuff, and when you first
Keep it weird.
see a silent film, you're like, "What the hell even is this?"
Yeah.
Like as a kid, when you see them, you're like, what?
The images are the dialogue.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
so expressive. And
Yeah.
And I made I made the film with me and my brother Nathaniel and our dog. Our dog's name was Necron. It was named after the character Necron 99 from Ralph Bakshi's Wizards. She was a cute little dog. And it was called like The Magician and the Monster or something like that. It involves like it was like we would do cuts, like we would transform our dog into a rose.
Oh, okay.
And we would make the monster appear. The monster was
Okay.
Nathaniel, I think. And then
And for a 12-year-old, that's
yeah,
Actually,
Not
yeah,
too
that's actually
shabby.
wow. Okay, actually, yeah. Now that I'm thinking, you were 12. You were weird, man.
yeah,
Yeah, you were actually into this, huh?
yeah. and
weird
I
work
was-
sometimes, dude.
No, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and I was I still have it. It's in a trunk in my house. the actual film, but I'm gonna get it transferred to some
have
other
to, man.
medium. Yeah.
For your autobiography, dude.
Yeah, and for the next few years,
Puberty hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been there.
I would just mess around with cameras that I got, and I would go to acting workshops as a kid.
Nice.
Wow.
And in school, I did a little acting. I had a good friend there.
Like outside project, or were you in like in theater class or something?
I was in theater class.
Nice theater.
Nice.
I was in theater class. And, yeah, I had a friend there, Rafi Bromberg, who is an actor in New Jersey now.
Shout out to
Like a
that guy.
stage actor in New Jersey now. So
That's pretty cool.
he's doing pretty good for himself. In the early 2000s, I wanted to make a documentary about El Paso, but it just kind of fell through. It never really materialized.
As things do.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Kevin and Scott, right? They had their little.
Yeah, Mayday.
Yes, Mayday.
And it wasn't until things just kind of never materialized. I was dealing with my own stuff in my life, just trials and tribulations.
I feel you, man.
And it wasn't until I was 29 in 2013 that I did the local Ghostlight 24-hour film competition.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostlight.
And that was pretty good. I did another silent film, again with my brother and again with our dog.
Mm-hmm.
And that was good. It was called We Need Animals.
Go check it out.
That was the line where I have it on my YouTube site. And it was called We Need Animals. And that was the line that they give you. For those of you people who don't know, they give you a line that you have to put in the movie.
So they
and
can know.
yeah, and that was written on the title card, like the silent film title card.
Right.
And yeah, it was about 2013 that I got involved with a local theater group called the Border Theater.
Here in El Paso.
Yes.
Okay.
Here in El Paso, it's called the Border Theater. It's run by Austin Savage.
Shout out to Austin.
Shout out to Austin Savage.
I took classes with him too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He's a great guy. And I've been working with them ever since.
I would say take notes, people, because you just spilled the whole El
That's the
Paso
glass house,
acting
right?
game here.
Is it the
Yeah.
glass box or?
The Glass Box. The Glass Box,
Mhm.
which is somewhere on Poplar. I can never remember.
Yeah.
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 210 Poplar. There was a very short time when I took a break from the Border Theater. It wasn't even a year. It was like I was just working on other stuff. But
would you say that?
aside from that, I've been working with them.
Would you say that, like, for anyone looking to act, like, would you say, like, is it important to put yourself in those little positions, or you can just meet people anywhere you can?
Yeah, yeah, meet people wherever you can. Try out for local stuff, like,
You'll see that there's people obsessed just as you.
yeah,
Just as much as you.
local movies, local productions. I know that the El Paso Playhouse does. They usually do adapted work as well.
My cousin used to be on that one too.
Yeah, and
Shout out to Nick.
Nice.
UTEP Dinner Theater also does adapted work.
Shout
What
out to
we
Bev.
do at the Border
Shout out to
Theater.
Bev.
Yeah.
Theater.
What we do at the Border Theater is original work. We've done several.
You guys hold a lot of like
shows.
workshop classes, no? Too.
Yeah, we do
Yeah, I've
workshop
been wanting to
classes.
go those for sure.
Would you say
Yeah.
that? What made you pick these guys then? Because I mean, I know you showed me his audition, and then obviously like he had his own audition too. Do you see that experience play out in the film?
For sure.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean,
Yeah, he definitely pulls off.
yeah, I
Kevin.
mean the experience that both of them just have, and with acting, they were able to really pull it off, and just even like Brandon, like he said, getting his dedication to, dig deep, to find stuff about Scott Mosier in his early days and be able to act like that. Jeremy, when he sent in his audition, the moment I saw it, I was like, "That's Kevin Smith right there." I'm not gonna lie.
How could it not be this guy?
Yeah, like we saw him, and I was like, "Yeah, it's him." And we had already worked with Jeremy before on Sun City Lights, so just knowing he already has that experience, and just knowing he's been around the game in El Paso for a while, so it was a no-brainer to pick these two to kind of go at it.
Talking about origins, man, we gotta know what your first film was. Cause I know you were young. I know you've been into this.
This guy's
Like-
been doing stuff since 12.
I'm thinking you too, right?
Oh yeah, it's.
Shout out your very first one.
I first started. I guess my first the adventure started when I was. I mean, I've always been a film kid too. I grew up watching Laserdiscs and VHS, and grew
But when was
into
it? We gotta do something.
But when I really wanted to make videos per se, I guess, was when YouTube first surged up. And I watched this dude, SMP Films, Corey Williams, Mr. Safety. He did the Mean Kitty video, and I was mesmerized. I was like, this is amazing. I want to be just like this guy. And so I got my dad's digital camera, and I didn't know what editing or cutting was or anything like that. So I just did everything in one take, and it was really bad.
Jumped in the pool, man.
It's terrible. It's so bad. Oh, it's so cringy. But I would make stuff like stop motion, like Star Wars action figure toys, because I would read Twisted Toy Fair Theater and watch Robot Chicken.
Yeah, shout out to Twisted Toy Fair Theater. That was a staple of my.
Some of my foundation of my comedy.
Yeah.
So that's where it all started, and then I just made videos from 7th and 8th grade, and maybe someday. Maybe someday.
I feel like we all have
They're
locked
out there.
up films that
They're on YouTube.
We all have those YouTube videos that we keep locked away from everybody.
Oof. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one movie I made called, and I'm sure a few people who know local film might know this film. It's called The Mysterious Dr. Phantom.
Ooh,
sounds good.
And
It's a good start. Sounds good.
it was also made for the 24-hour project, but I don't show it to people. It's kind of my room, the room.
The room.
It's kind of my.
We all have
room.
the room moments. What was the I guess the post production like? Once you got it all stitched together, did you have that moment of yes, this is exactly what I wanted it to be? I got the flow, I got the story, the acting, elevated it. Because the highlight for these two, I think, is the scene where you guys are outside going okay, what are we doing? No more joking around. We procrastinated. We just walked around. We did our thing. But it's that scene where you two are just playing off each other. What? Well, I don't know, man. You start pulling from your own personal experience. Well, Kevin Smith, being at the convenience store, and then you get the eureka moment. And that's what I mean by you really did capture their personalities.
Yeah, I like that scene.
Because it shows this is what it might have. I believe that. I think that's what it was.
Was some of that improv, or was that all this guy directing you?
Both.
Both, right?
Yeah, definitely both.
I think the biggest improv was the gun thing.
Yeah.
Because I think originally in the script I just had them you come back to the guns and then put it back down. But these guys on one of the takes, and I said keep it, they stayed at it, and then they keep talking and talking, and then one of them makes a point, they're like, hey, wait, and then they go back to it, and that was it's so funny to this day,
just flowed down.
Yeah, it just flows with it in the way they just keep going with their guns and everything. That's a reference to Tarantino as well, because Reservoir Dogs at the time, that's what they're talking about. But yeah, that's my favorite part. I think that's when they gelled more than anything, more than at the end.
Yeah.
But I think you guys had brought that as an improv thing, and it just worked so well.
It was a natural just acting moment.
Yeah, I think that's one of those where the actors bring something to the table, and
I gotta say, man,
when all else fails, do physical comedy.
Yeah, and then
for
perfect
sure.
example right there.
I gotta say, man, I could have watched a little bit more.
I guess I wish it was longer.
Yeah.
I think the reason I think it just wasn't was just because I was limited on the length of it. When I originally wrote it, I was limited because of my class.
Yeah, you have to turn it in.
I think we just never really explored the idea of extending. The whole
I just got the
idea of
vibe
it.
man, I wish I could have seen it a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's one of those that
Sequel.
or
A sequel.
So when we started talking about this project, we always talked about it like, hey man, let's see how it comes out. We'll send it to Kevin Smith. He sees all this stuff. He's pretty good about his fandom and stuff. So when I went to California this past summer.
Look at this guy just flexing on us.
I got to go. Yeah, I'm gonna flex a little bit. I got to go to a live recording of Fat Man Beyond. Used to be Fat Man on Batman. Now it's Fat Man Beyond, with Kevin Smith and Mark. I forget his last name.
Marion?
Hold on, the Mark Martins. Mark Bernstein or something like that. Anyways,
fuck Jeff Goldblum, man.
I got to go to the live recording, and he was doing a Q&A. Because what they did was they rented out a whole theater for everybody who bought a ticket for the recording of the podcast, because it was the day that Spider-Man Far From Home came out. So they bought tickets for everybody to go screen this film, like, with them. No, because Sandra and I had already had plans for that day in California, and there was like an included ticket. We had seen the film the night before at the Chinese theater, so we're like, we're just not gonna go.
Man.
We said no to Kevin Smith.
Yeah, dude, like my fiance bought me tickets for, like, she surprised me with tickets for the film at the Chinese theater. So we're like, nah. Anyways, go to the live recording. He did a Q&A on Spider-Man, like, come and give us your take on what you thought of the film. And I went up there and like I asked him a question. So I got to meet Kevin Smith, and I got to talk to him. And,
get out of here for sure. You asked him a question too?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on his YouTube. It's on his YouTube.
Having a convo with Kevin.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know. I was wearing
he walks in like, yeah, I'm Carlos from Tower. You know who I am, right?
For Christmas, Austin, I think it was a couple Christmases ago, Austin got me a Clerks shirt. Like, it's the storyboards of Clerks. I wear that shirt all the time, so I was like, I'm gonna wear it to this. Yeah. And the first thing Kevin Smith did, like, you could see it in the video, he was like, hey,
nice. He acknowledged you.
Yeah, he acknowledged. Dude, he's a sweetheart, man. Like, when it comes to fans, he's like they say, don't meet your heroes. He's a prime example of the opposite of that.
Yeah,
like,
he looks like he can't be a bad guy.
He's awesome, and we started talking about Spider-Man, and what you do when you go to the Scum and Villainy Cantina, it's like a cantina from Star Wars. It's like it's themed that way. What you do is you put anything you want him to sign on this little bar, and so I took a Funko Pop of Kevin Smith that I have, and it's here, and I took my Clerks Blu-ray, so I put them there, and then on there I put a note, and I put because you have to put your name on it so they can return you the stuff. So I put Carlos from El Paso, Texas, indie filmmaker. Tower Productions, and I put a Tower Productions card on there. Yeah. So he took the card. Like, I saw him take it. He got it. He's like, oh, okay, cool. He put it in his pocket. And I noticed, like, he was signing everybody's stuff, right? Like, people were taking comic books. You were taking, like, somebody took a Stan Lee print, like a picture of Stan Lee and him, and he would sign everything as he's doing the podcast. And I noticed that on mine, he personalized it. Like, he put, Carlos, I love you. And I think he did that because I said I was a filmmaker. He didn't do that for anybody else. Like, I saw all the signatures, and I think because I put I was a filmmaker, he did that. But he was like, he knows about any fan films that people are making. I mean, he probably doesn't get a ton of fan films.
No, actually, these guys made a biopic about the making of
Clerks.
And I think he helped.
It's called The Making of Clerks.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, they're from Scotland or something. Yeah,
Scottish, I think.
I think he even backed the project.
He did back it.
They premiered it at New York Comic Con this year.
Did they really?
Was it New York Comic Con?
I know
San Diego Comic Con.
It had a spotlight on one of the Comic Book Men episodes. Before
He backed it. He produced it.
Really?
He produced it. Yeah, he backed it. I think they did a GoFundMe, and he was like sharing that and stuff. So, but yeah, he loves, like, his fans, man, and he loves this kind of stuff. Like, when you're talking about his past work, and
just to note, you know, there are two filmmakers in the industry who have given Tower cards. It's Robert Rodriguez, right?
Robert Rodriguez. I gave him a Tower
Kevin
card.
Smith, which is so crazy because my brain goes to
all it takes is him just.
And shout out to Juan, because Juan gave one to Beto O'Rourke.
I did give one to Beto. Yeah. I snuck behind.
So yeah, we utilize our cards, man. I
dude.
gave them to Robert Rodriguez when I met him and talked to him about Tower a little bit.
No, my brain goes to, like, when they were, like, screening Clerks 2, so I'm like, like, they've been in the same house together before, like, they know each other. Like,
I believe they're friends. I believe that all of like the 90s indie guys, like,
they are. So, like, Clerks 2, he screened it for Rodriguez and Tarantino. There's a YouTube video about it.
Really cool.
And Tarantino's like nuts about it. He's like giving him notes on it. He's like, I think you could do this, man, and it's so funny when this happens and when this happens. In fact, Kevin Smith used to have a show called Spoilers, It was like a talk show.
I
He used to have a talk show, and Robert Rodriguez was a guest. And Kevin Smith loves to talk about how when he saw El Mariachi, he read in the newspaper like that this guy made a $7,000 film, and he's like, man, like I want to do that. I could do that because Robert Rodriguez's thing is like utilize what you have around you. And he's like, well, I have a convenience store around me. I can use that in my film.
Yeah,
I have a video store with me. I can use that in my film.
Well, I mean, he made Clerks for what, 27,000?
27,000. He put himself into debt. He sold comic books. He sold like first edition comic books. Maxed out his credit cards.
Maxed out his parents' credit cards.
Yeah, he got his house. There was a flood, and this is all in the making of in that documentary. There was a flood, and they got insurance money, and that was part of the funding for. Like,
Isn't that crazy? All that stuff that had to happen,
dude.
Yeah.
Like
imagine if he was at the
Jeremy
convenience store and he's like, "Fuck it." Like we wouldn't.
I call them the indie brats, man. Like they're like the indie brats are they stay connected, man. They all came from that DIY.
And you know what's crazy is like even when he did make the movie, like they didn't have any posters, they didn't have any of that. He screened it at like one theater that like was supposed to have like this like indie run thing. I think it got into Sundance. And well, before that though, like no one showed up to their screening. Yeah, the Angelic. There was nobody there. No, dude, it was like he was like watching this movie.
How do you not?
I think it was called the Independent Film Festival. Dude, it was called the Independent Film Festival at the Angelica Theater in New York, and it was a big deal because this film got in. And the reason it was a big deal to Kevin Smith is because Kevin Smith, one of his big influences is the film called Slacker, from Richard Linklater, Texas filmmaker, by the way. He's based in Austin, and he's an awesome director too. Did Boyhood and the Before trilogy. He's awesome. And Kevin Smith was inspired by Slacker. He saw that film. He's like, dude, we could do this. It's a bunch of people talking. Like, I could do this. And that's when he started writing Clerks. So Clerks screened at the same theater where he saw the film. So that was a big deal to him. But only like 4 or 5 people showed up. Among those people was one guy, and I forget his name, but he was... he
was friends with Weinstein, wasn't he?
No, there's a whole new connection. He was a critic, and he wrote a piece about it. He wrote a piece about Clerks, and he forwarded his story to another writer who wrote for a big magazine that they use at Sundance to critique films. So from there, it kind of just spiraled into getting it to the head of Miramax.
Damn, all the little cracks.
It's
You know what's crazy is, if I'm not mistaken, the second step it was a lady. Yeah, and he was actually Kevin Smith actually had like snippets of her on his wall.
Yeah, like stories that she had written about Slacker, about other films.
Smith, be like, hey,
he like,
oh, I know who you are.
Yeah. No. At first, he answered the phone and he was like, "Stop bullshitting." He hung up the phone.
Typical, right?
He hung up the phone.
Yeah.
And then she called again and she said, "No, it's me, and I want to interview about Clerks." And she's like, "What?" He was like,
That's basically
man.
like social media. Like we can still
But it went to Sundance. The film went to Sundance. And they got it to the head of Miramax. Harvey Weinstein walked out on the first screening because of the smoking scene. It was because of the smoking scene, because he was a big smoker, and there's like an anti-smoking guy.
Him and his vices, man.
And he walked out, and people. Wow. And he convinced one of the younger.
Literally the worst thing. Literally the worst thing that Harvey Weinstein does. Smoking. There's nothing. There's no worse thing that he does.
Nothing worse than what he does.
Fuck that guy.
But no, literally, he one of the younger guys. His name is Mark Tusk. So get that reference. That Tusk, right? He was
The Matrix.
He was responsible for convincing Harvey to watch it again.
Didn't he convince him to tell him just wait till the blowjob?
Just wait till the blowjob scene. Just wait till the blowjob. No. He told him the number 27.
Oh yeah.
Wait till 27, and he stayed.
Now it makes sense.
So they bought it on the spot at Sundance. Like literally, I think they said something along the lines like they wrote it on a napkin, the contract.
37.
So Kevin Smith got his initial $27,000. And they bought the film for I think like $500,000, and everybody got paid out of that. Like he paid his actors, he paid the crew, and he paid himself back. Like he reimbursed his money.
And again, Kevin Smith, like his actors that he got were all from the community colleges. Like you know what I mean? Like
local actors.
You watch. I think it's the DVD special features for Clerks, They're local people.
They were all local
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
He asked favors. He asked the local theater, like, can we hold our auditions here?
Yeah.
And just tell your actors if they can come and audition.
Yeah, man.
And Brian, the lead, the one that plays the
grind,
lead,
that's the grind.
I shouldn't even be here today. Brian
O'Halloran.
Brian O'Halloran.
He was like a local theater Shakespearean actor.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
And you could see it. You could see it.
Yeah. And now his career's revolved around Clerks, man. Like he really does. He does the Comic Cons. He does all that. You know.
I heard he changed after the heart attack though. Like,
Oh,
Kevin
drastic-
Smith, yeah, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, Kevin like came from that indie thing, like going and asking to film at the place he used to work at, and they'd be like, "Sure, film at night." That's why the doors are jammed.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
why there's
film at
somebody
night.
put gum in the locks.
Yeah.
It's so that they wouldn't have light coming in because it was.
Because you had to film at night and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's just
It's crazy, man. Like, just watch that documentary, especially if you're an indie filmmaker. Like, just think about it this way: Miramax bought Clerks, right? So now the next 3 pictures, at least, were from Kevin Smith. Were going to be made at Miramax. Miramax was responsible for bringing Matt Damon and Ben Affleck onto the scene as writers.
Mm-hmm.
He produced, him and Scott Mosier produced Good Will Hunting.
Not
They were
crazy.
responsible. They gave the script to Harvey Weinstein because Ben Affleck was in Mallrats. Yeah, and
Shannon.
it was Kevin
Shannon
Smith,
the
man.
asshole.
Kevin Smith was responsible for bringing that picture, and it won an Oscar. So think
Not
about
crazy.
that, you know.
Isn't that crazy?
And the thing is, we're talking about budgets, like the budgets for and mariachi being the standard, mariachi being what, $7,000?
I don't know if I could max out credit cards. I'll
How
be real
much
with y'all,
did
but
how much did Clerks cost?
27,000.
$27,000. Manos: The Hands of Fate cost $14,000.
that was shot here in El Paso, right?
Yes, that's Manos.
like considered the worst movie ever made.
Yes, it is.
More than
It is so
Plan 9
bad.
from Outer Space.
It
Like
is
Plan
so
9 from Outer
bad.
Space and Manos Hands of Fate, like they compare those two.
I think, I personally, as an El Pasoan, I think we should take pride in the fact that we made the worst fucking movie in the world.
because they
Oh,
can
by
only
the
get
way,
better.
There's a couple filmmakers in town. I'm not gonna say who. That are talking about remaking Manos. 'Cause
Really?
why not?
Okay.
They should only
mean-
be remade if they're gonna make it that bad.
No.
No, but that's what I mean. It's like the whole cult following. Like
They
you
can't-
gotta make it
Right.
bad.
You can't make a bad movie on purpose. It
Right.
doesn't
That's exactly
work.
my point. You can't.
because
This is
it's
the way to
something
put
like
it,
The
for
Room
sure.
happens.
Unless like that, like the whole Adam
Happens.
Sandler thing, where he's like, if I don't get an Oscar nod this year, I'm gonna make a shitty comedy film for the critic.
Like Adam Sandler should make Manos Hands of Fate read too.
Right. But nah, just as an inspiration, man. Like if you're an indie filmmaker, look at all these indie brats. I mean, Tarantino kind of falls into that too. He was in that. Him and Rodriguez met at this film festival circuit through their first films. Like, Kevin Smith was a huge.
I was gonna ask that. Was Tarantino already big?
No,
Desperado came
he
out?
did Reservoir Dogs. Before that, he did a short that he funded himself, a couple $1,000, and then Lawrence.
So which one was
Lawrence-
first, Desperado or?
They both came out together. They were both in the film festival circuit together.
So how did he?
Not Desperado, El Mariachi.
Oh,
El Mariachi.
that's-
So, like Rodriguez, if you read his book, in his book he details how he's like, yeah, I just met this new cat, Quentin Tarantino, who he's got this Reservoir Dogs bank heist film. It's really cool, man. We've gelled, and they hit the film festival circuit together. They were on panels together about violence on movies and shit.
That's all.
And they met there, and so when they both got deals, when they both sold the pictures, like Mariachi sold for $1 million to a Dimension, to Columbia Pictures, and Reservoir Dogs sold to Miramax, right? So they both started like they saw each other on the studio lots when they were writing their next film.
That makes
So
sense.
when Rodriguez was writing Desperado and kind of thinking of reshooting that, he's like, I was walking on the Sony lot, and I passed by Quentin's office, and he was furiously writing his next script. Turns out he was writing Pulp Fiction.
Dang.
No
And Rodriguez like saw that, like it's in his book,
What a
man. Like
trip.
he
What a
like
trip,
documented all that.
Because Mariachi and then Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
But they were still in the same time.
They were
That's
still at the
insane.
same time.
And
Because
did-
Lawrence, I forget Tarantino's producer, Lawrence Fisher, Lawrence
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Lawrence something. He's the one that found Tarantino, because Tarantino was gonna make Reservoir Dogs for like $10,000. He's like, no, I just need this much, and it's gonna be in one place. And this guy Lawrence, he's been his producer to up until Django. Everything after Django he didn't produce. And he was like, let me find you money. I'll find you money. And they made it for like think like $500,000 or something like that.
Really?
Like it had a bigger budget because of this guy.
Really?
But
Lawrence Bender, I think.
Lawrence Bender. I think it is Lawrence
Lawrence
Bender.
Bender.
Lawrence Bender. That's his name. Yeah, he found the money for Tarantino, and they just met in Sundance and started hitting all the festivals together.
I noticed that with filmmakers, like we all try to I guess emulate, or we try to find our own versions of our own Scott Mosers, our own Robert Rodriguez, Tarantino friendship type things, and I think it's cool because, dude, like these guys to me are like the most inspirational filmmakers you can find because for the most part, like at the beginning of it, most of them were either born into the industry or they just, it was free. It was all free grabs at that point. But like Tarantino was working at a video store. Kevin Smith was
No, tell the truth about Tarantino where he was really working.
Where was he working?
He was an usher for a porn theater.
Oh, he was he was.
the white guy.
Yeah.
But he did work at a video store.
Which is crazy. But then you also have Rodriguez, who what was he doing?
Was a student.
He was just a student, right?
He was a student. No, he had like 3
Yeah,
jobs.
yeah.
He was a cartoonist for the local newspaper. He wrote. He had 3 jobs. He was a busboy, like at a restaurant for something. And
I noticed something. I'm gonna see if I can speak, but like I noticed something like here. No, like I'm gonna try to see some real shit. But like every time I meet like an actor or a director or like even with someone we had in the last episode, they mentioned they work and stuff. Like I automatically know where their headspace is at because you know like okay, they're probably reading the same books I'm reading. They're probably reading the same like videos and inspirational stories, whatever. But like it's not to be romantic. I think it's like that's just the way it is.
The artist mind, right?
Yeah, it's the artist mindset. Like like this guy was just talking about it when he was like he's working at Alamo and he's thinking super hard about this role and like I'm sure nobody there. Like actually you're known there actually because you like
no, everybody knows Brandon at Alamo.
Yeah, everyone knows.
You're the face of Alamo, man. You're the face of like you know what I see you, man? Like if you keep doing what you're doing, dude, like they might like Alamo might actually hire you to be like
Thanks,
spokesperson.
man.
Like,
I really want to do a lot of video work for them. I've talked to Robert Sacedo. Shout out to Robert. He's the director for several Alamos across Texas for the creative programming. And
if you want to give us any new leaks on the new one, that's cool.
We're gonna have really good seats for sure.
nice. They massage your butt.
Maybe I'll apply
Yo,
for creative
I want
director.
that.
Hey, all
Yeah.
I
Why?
care about is that it's gonna be here, dude. Like 10-minute drive.
It's
Really?
gonna be close
Okay,
to us
now
on
I
the
gotta
side.
move over here.
Yeah, we're gonna have IMAX as well.
Wow! Please get IMAX.
Yep.
Please get
and a
IMAX.
souvenir
IMAX.
shop, so we're gonna sell Mondo material.
IMAX or Limax?
I can't.
Sure,
I
is
can't
it
go
gonna
that
be
far.
the 70 IMAX or regular IMAX?
I'm not sure. I just know that it is IMAX. I'm hoping 70 though, because I want to be projectionist as well and handle that. It'd be a lot of fun because we do get film as well here at. There.
Well, yeah, you guys screen in 35, right?
Yeah. We saw Joker. We had Joker Once Upon a Time.
Shout out to Chris. The
Yeah.
movies Mayhem Soap guys. They work on that. He's a projectionist at Alamo.
Yeah, Chris is amazing.
And he has his own podcast too. And we've shouted him out in the past, but they
Movies
work
Mayhem
at
Soap?
Alamo, dude. Toth,
who was in this
Toth.
Toth
works at
Stephanie
Alamo.
Works at Alamo as
Toth.
well.
She's concierge and runner. She does everything. She's hard worker. She's amazing.
Yeah.
My best friend
So Alamo's
Skyler.
just the place to work at. I think. we're all
Alamo
just gonna
Draft
get a
House
job
is
there.
the coolest theater.
I'm gonna apply today.
Do you have any say in the movies shown at Alamo?
I since I'm an event coordinator, I could kind of like tug on people's sleeves a little bit more. I worked. I've been there for 3 years, going on 4, and I finally got Hot Rod this year.
Nice.
And I've been pushing for Hot Rod since day 1, so kind of yes.
It's because if you need any just weird movies to
Yeah. Because we have the Video Vortex, and that's where I started, and we're always doing stuff. But we could talk to Robert as well. Robert's a really awesome dude, and he listens really well. I'm going to send him videos so we can maybe get it shown for the pre-shows sometime. So.
Yeah. It's because I've always wanted to see them play at the Alamo Draft House. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this movie, Repo: The Genetic Opera.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great screening. Actually,
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a horror musical.
Oh, okay.
Rocky Horror kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. For sure.
Should we segue? Oh, go ahead.
I say. I don't know if you were present for this, Brandon, or if you were in the mix or not, but we screened our feature at Alamo, and they were so good to us, man.
Which one did you screen?
Depth of Field.
Oh,
we
really?
screened Depth of Field for a cast and crew screening. When they rolled out the red carpet for us, man, we had a setup there.
Really?
They put our posters up on the screens, up on the TV.
Cool.
They let us come and test the film out the day before, like on the screen, make sure that audio levels and lumens on the projector were good.
Okay.
They were good to us, man. They had rolled out chairs for us for Q&A, director chairs.
Wow, really?
Dude, like
shout out to
the
Alamo
whole
then.
nine.
Shout out to
Alamo
Alamo.
is
Alamo Draft House.
Yeah, go to Alamo.
come to
'Cause
Alamo
I really
Draft
do
House.
encourage people all the time, like go to Alamo
It's a
Draft House.
classic
had a
theater experience.
Beautiful experience, dude.
No
Look,
kids.
okay.
No
so-
kid, yeah, it's like a draft house.
Dude,
too, so.
I love classic theaters. Like back home, I had one that I fucking loved.
State
It was
Theater,
like,
right?
oh,
The
it's
State
so
Theater.
Beautiful.
Give it a
movie.
shout out.
You know what? Yeah, shout out to the State Theater in Modesto because oh my gosh, dude, I screened my movie there. Same-
California, baby.
Dude, like, but when I walked into Alamo, like, I was like, oh,
feeling.
there's this.
You
Yeah.
felt at home.
Yeah, I really did. And then I watched like Once Upon a Time in 35,
amazing.
Joker in 35,
Yeah.
and the whole time I was like, okay, cool.
We had the awesome family parties for the families and kids in the morning too. That's like what I
Really?
do too. I work a lot.
What
with
did
the
we see in
kids and stuff.
70?
It's a lot of fun.
Not in 70. We saw Dunkirk in 35.
Dunkirk.
I saw.
We saw Once Upon a Time in... No, we didn't see...
I saw the Hateful Eight in 70, but in another city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because
what
we,
it was.
we
I
also
didn't
saw
see it.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in 35 there.
Yeah,
Dunkirk in 35. And if they show Tenet in 35, I'm going to be there.
I'm sure we will.
There is a place. It was near UTEP. It's gone now because it was a video store.
Yes.
There was an amazing place
I'm back on the loft.
called the Fellini Film Cafe.
Yeah,
They had-
blockbuster type
it was-
of.
Like Federico Fellini. Why was it called?
It was because they had like art movies. They just
Yeah.
had weird movies like art movies, foreign movies, and it was just crazy ass movies you couldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
It was a film cafe. It wasn't big at all, but it was just like literally every movie there was worth watching, and they had you could go there and watch films. And I remember I saw.
Didn't you have to like buy a soda and a pizza? Like that
I
was the
believe
whole, That was
so.
the whole deal there.
I believe so. I saw what movies did I see there? Irreversible,
I saw a couple too.
Warzone, the movie that Tim Roth directed.
The actor?
With Brad Pitt?
Tim Roth. No.
No, I was like, no. Yeah.
Tim
Roth is Tarantino's actor.
Tim Roth is Mr.
Yeah, right?
Orange.
Oh, okay. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I was like, he's the actor?
He directed a movie called Warzone.
I know he directed. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bobination.
It was one movie he directed. I saw Irreversible, Warzone, and I believe Battle Royale 2, which
They made a second one?
yeah, it's not so hot.
Oh, okay.
I was about, like,
That place isn't there
about
anymore?
Screening films,
Yeah,
man. Like,
past
if
there,
not,
it's not
if
that
not at the
anymore.
Plaza Classic, like Alamo's a really good theater to screen indie
Say I didn't know
films.
you guys. Say I wasn't in Tower.
Another shameless Alamo plug. I mean, not for here in El Paso. I guess it is a shame.
film salon.
It's not as shameless. It's proud. Alamo Draft House up in Austin, at least, they hosted the Austin Independent Short Film Festival. So they're just really open to actually as well. Just I mean, I think what
Helping
else?
people.
I believe there has been local stuff.
There's
that's
like
happened in El Paso.
a Chuck Horak's series, the
Yeah.
Film Salon.
Yeah, the Film
and
Salon.
he shows like some classic films there too, or like indie obscure film stuff. And
like a monthly programming.
The Plaza Classic, man, they show local flavor stuff, but they also show like good indie films.
Plaza
as well.
Classic's where I started, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's good. Like
Yeah.
in terms of screening, El Paso's really good about screening indie work or screening like obscure films that you can't really get anywhere else.
So say like there's a 13-year-old kid who wants to screen his movie. And where would he go?
There's somewhere to go.
I would definitely suggest looking into the local flavor for sure.
Yep.
And the good, the bad, and the indie. That's where I started with my best friends out of high school.
Is that Plaza or is that Alamo?
The Plaza Classic
Okay,
Film
Plaza-
Festival.
The good, the
Okay.
bad,
Yeah.
and the indie. Yeah.
And I would advise too, the 48-hour film fests.
Yep.
You know,
Mhm.
really
Yep.
push your limits. Like Robert Rodriguez, use what you have around you. I think that's what really pushes the creativity for sure is your time limit.
Yeah, but El Paso's really good about that, man. Like,
It's amazing.
if you don't,
Coming up.
if you're an indie filmmaker, there's somewhere to screen your film.
Mhm.
And if you're a film lover who just wants to see indie films or obscure films that you're not gonna find anywhere else, I mean, I'm willing to bet money that you have a criterion that you really want to screen publicly.
Mm-hmm.
You'll go somewhere like, hey man, I really want to do a screening, and like somewhere Glassbox I know has done some screenings. Star City Studios allows some screenings. Like there's a lot of good places to screen.
And I mean, like we talked about it last time that I mean, El Paso's just growing. Like the film community's not tapping out here. Like I mean, you know, with the 48s coming back recently, right? That it hasn't been around that long, and then yeah, like you said, the Alamo. I mean, I think El Paso just has that appreciation for film that's really coming back. Like, just a small side note, like I've loved Alamo's. Was the film club where they just bring in a movie and have people talk about it? And I mean,
every Wednesday.
that one's been the best thing.
That's cool because they have like little passports.
Yeah,
You give a passport, and every film you come to, they stamp it. I have one. Sandra and I went to a couple of them. But it's even films like Elf. Or like, you know, some good classic Christmas films or whatever. Like
what's the next one?
Polar Express, I think they did for that.
I knew you for. Oh no, I think it was for the holiday season. It was It's a Wonderful Life, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I know next month is something really freaking cool. I'm really excited for. I'll be there for that.
Kiss Saves Christmas.
Yeah.
Kiss Saves Christmas.
Yeah.
Dang, is that a thing?
Plaza did. I remember last year. I know because I took my family to it. They do films at the Plaza, like holiday films.
We just did it as well this year.
Yeah. Oh, you guys did it too.
They got a bunch of Disney stuff. As Nightmare Before Christmas was screened.
We did. I know that they did like the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
They did It's a Wonderful
For Claus?
Life. They did Elf. Like they did.
El Paso Community Foundation's awesome.
Yeah.
Eric Pearson's a really cool
He
dude.
is.
He's the one that got us tied in with working with the Plaza Classic Film Festival initially. Doug Pullen runs it now.
He's a programmer.
Amazing guy. Chuck Horak passed it on to him before he retired from that role. That I would just suggest as well. Anything.
There's no excuse,
Local
is what we're saying here.
filmmakers.
Like El Paso screenings for good films are all over town,
back
man.
to
Like
it.
they really are.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, and if it's interesting, we also have something called the Film Frontera Showcase.
That's right.
Which
Plug that.
is movies made by women. You get I believe it's you get funding if you're a woman or
It's like I think it's
identify
like
as a
if the
woman.
there's a woman director and an all-female crew.
Yeah,
You
It's
get
a grant?
funding.
Kinda
It's
like-
a grant.
Wow.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's here in El Paso.
Wow.
I believe Angie Torres is involved in it. She did a movie with me called Memory Box, and I believe a friend of mine, Angie Torres, is involved in it somehow.
Shout out to Angie.
Coordinator, I think. Yeah, shout out to Angie Torres. Wonderful person. But yeah, there's that and the kid version.
Sweet.
Of Film Frontera.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Okay.
Moving up to the
I
trivia.
think it's time for trivia. We basically did the advice thing just now, so that was pretty cool. We kind of segued accidentally into that, but
Now we're gonna put you to the test.
since we all claim to be Kevin Smith fans,
Oh yeah.
I think it's time.
walk out now.
Where are you going? I think it's time for some trivia. So let me just pull it up.
Why are you running?
All right, who's ready for trivia? Who's ready for trivia? All right, y'all ready for trivia?
Oh,
This is
yeah.
for diehard Kevin Smith fans. I'm getting this from a website because they had like some really good ones.
Okay.
This is from funtrivia.com, but these are good.
Oh, wait, hold
That was my intro? That was my intro? Okay, cool.
on. What's the website, man, real quick?
No. First question, which obviously is kind of funny. Which of the following Kevin Smith films does not follow the Jersey Chronicles timeline, the View Askew universe?
Which doesn't.
Yes. Oh, okay. The options are
I was about to say.
sorry. The options are Dogma, Chasing Amy, Clerks 2, Jersey Girl.
Come on. It's a Jersey Girl.
It is Jersey Girl.
No.
Unfortunately, the answer is Jersey Girl. That's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
just
say.
like pinpoint Jay and Silent Bob back to everything.
Pretty much.
Jay and Silent
Pretty
Bob
much.
there? No, okay.
In each of his film, Kevin Smith mentions his parents for different things. Which of the following is not something he says? Thanks for the years of support. Thanks for having sex all those years ago. I know I got a PG in me somewhere. Send money so I can make something artsy and not have to show a profit.
The fourth one, I believe.
I think his parents said the last one.
Well, which ones did they not say? I'm gonna go with the third one.
It's the fourth.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
fourth. Which one was the fourth one?
Send me money so I can make something artsy and not have to show a profit. What movie did Kevin Smith direct for his 4th production, not documentaries?
So, when Clerks, was it Chasing Amy or Dogma after Clerks? Or was it Mallrats? It was Mallrats.
His
Clicks, Mallrats.
Dogma, 3, and then... So it's Dogma then. No, wait. No, Jane Silent Bob
Wait,
came out after Dogma.
out of like everything he's done.
I think I'm going to go with Dogma too.
Dogma.
Thinking about this, out of everything, I think if you count Mayday, it's
Not documentary.
oh,
Not
not
documentary.
documentary. Okay, I think there's something else aside from Mayday. So, Chasing Amy.
Dogma. It was Dogma,
Dogma.
which is
Chasing Amy
my
was
favorite
previous.
film of his.
Yeah. And then it was Jane Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah.
And then Jersey Girl
Jersey Girl,
after that.
which gets a lot of flack, but I
It's a heartwarming film.
By the way, you want to flex on meeting him? He retweeted me one time after watching Jersey Girl again. I told him that he doesn't deserve all the hate, and he retweeted me. So,
What do you think is a better movie that features both Ben Affleck and Will Smith? Jersey Girl or Suicide Squad?
Jersey Girl, man. That's easy.
Because that scene with Kevin Smith, I mean, with Will Smith and Ben
Batman and
Affleck, like,
Deadshot.
that's such a good scene.
Wasted. They wasted those 2 actors, man. Imagine what that could have been. Deadshot and Batman.
I love how Batman literally hides behind a little girl in that scene. Seriously, watch it. He hides behind a little girl.
Dang.
that's
Next question.
This is a quote. Where's it from?
All right.
Don't look.
I'm ready for this one.
Did you tell her every time you're on TV you look 10 pounds heavier?
Oh yeah. It's Mallrats.
Yeah, that's
Ding
Mallrats.
ding.
I remember
Mallrats.
that.
Wow. Cool.
Jason Lee's like one of my favorite characters.
Because she dies in the
characters, yeah.
pool of a brain.
I haven't seen
My
Reboot,
Name
by
is
the
Earl.
way. I want
neither.
to. Has anybody seen Reboot?
No, I
I've seen
haven't.
Reboot. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Jane
I heard
Silent
it's
Bob
really
reboot.
good.
Oh, Jane Silent Bob. I was like the cartoon. Yes.
You saw
The
it?
I
reboot
loved it.
cartoon.
I still haven't seen
I
it.
saw
man.
it when it came here.
Me too.
I know Jason Lee comes back for that, right? He comes back
Yeah.
for this.
I like
Everybody
Jason.
He
comes
comes
back,
back
for this.
as Brody Bruce. And the funeral that they're talking about, there is a deleted scene in Clerks
yeah, the funeral.
that Randall and Dante go to.
It made it into a comic book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I read
Oh yeah,
I
somewhere
read the
up here,
comic
Austin got me a signed Bloodman and Chronic comic book.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's hanging somewhere up here.
Oh, yeah,
And my
yeah,
brother,
yeah,
shout
we
out
had-
to
we
my
had a
brother,
bunch
he
of-
got me
yeah.
a signed Dogma DVD. You can order this from his
Yeah.
website, guys.
My brother was
No, you
showing me that the
can't.
other day.
No, I
I
swear
know.
you
Yeah.
can't. It's
It's
like,
all of them signed.
yep.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Which of the following films does Kevin Smith make a cameo appearance in? Good Will Hunting, Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace, American Pie, Scream 3.
Scream 3.
Scream 3.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's a good one, huh? Which View Askew movie was filmed in black and white?
Come on.
Clerks.
I will not dignify that with an answer.
That one's easy.
Which Jones sister appears in Clerks?
Which what?
Jones sister.
I'm
Which
stumped
Jones
on that
sister?
one.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
This is a hard one.
As in
I'll
Jones
read you
from
guys
who?
the explanation, but it's apparently hard.
I don't know.
Heather Jones?
I don't
Does that ring a bell?
No.
That was a weird question.
That was a strange
I'm
one.
sorry, I let you guys down. Like Kevin Smith
I
down.
didn't even know what that question
I
meant.
mean, neither. Oh, okay, neighbor. That's where it was. Okay, according to the storyline, which movie occurs first chronologically? Ooh, I didn't know this one actually. Apparently, they're in some
in
kind
the
of.
View Askew universe?
This is a fans question. See, this is the question I was hoping to get.
Are we talking about like the whole movie?
So all of them, and so basically, like, what's the first film that takes place in the MCU right now, chronologically? It would-
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Okay, so which one's the Captain Marvel of? Ooh,
No,
I
not
remember
Captain
this.
Marvel.
I
Captain
remember
America,
this.
the first
oh
Avenger.
my God. Okay,
I remember this. It's Mallrats
Because
because
of the funeral.
the funeral doesn't happen yet in Mallrats.
do you guys want me to blow your mind?
Yes, go.
Didn't they reference Mallrats in Captain Marvel? Like,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Stan Lee's
Yeah.
reading the
Stan
script.
Lee's reading the
Stan Lee's
script.
reading the
Stan Lee's
script.
reading the
I
script.
think that was. I just popped in my head.
Yeah. And Kevin Smith even posted on his Instagram after seeing it. Like, he was so happy about it, yeah. Well, because Stanley makes his cameo in Mallrats.
Yeah, he reads the script.
Yeah.
And
Kevin
Captain
Smith
Marvel on
was
the
the first
train.
person to give Stanley a cameo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
I love that.
And Stan Lee said that Mallrats is his favorite cameo because instead of just being like a cameo, just being like
He actually has
dude.
talking lines.
Yeah, he's actually a character.
And he's a lot younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
He still has black hair.
Yeah.
But anyways, it goes Mallrats, Clerks.
Yeah, I believe it's Mallrats, Clerks, Amy,
Chasing Amy.
then Dogma.
Yeah.
And then
Clerks
Jane,
too.
Silent Bob.
Oh, by the way, fun fact about Dogma, Kevin Smith. So everybody was protesting Dogma
Oh, yeah.
because of the religious stuff, and he stood in the protesters.
Oh,
Like he stood with the there's a video on it.
remember that.
There was there's a
We're
news
here to
segment.
protest this disgusting.
Yeah, this disgusting director who made this film. And it's him, dude. Like, it's so awesome.
I love that,
It's on YouTube. Yeah.
For anyone who really loves a good Kevin Smith protest story, try to find the Dick Tastes Yummy story in I believe it's Kevin Smith Burn in Hell. It's in the live show Kevin Smith Burn in Hell. It's the Dick Tastes Yummy story about the Westboro Baptist Church. It's a pretty good story.
YouTube? Or we got to find that?
Just watch Kevin Smith Burn in Hell. It's good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Final question. This is a tricky one. So I guess Kevin Smith has been a script doctor before. So, Kevin did some rewrites for what teen movie script?
Is it where they dance?
Oh, really?
I want to say... I
Where
could
the
be
girls
completely
dance?
wrong. Wasn't it Teen Wolf?
No.
No.
At the show.
Isn't it the
No.
bar dance one?
No. He did he
Yeah, that's in the 80s.
Movie.
With Marty McFly.
Trying to think.
Yeah, Coyote Ugly.
We were wrong.
Coyote Ugly? Wow.
Yeah. I was like,
It was Coyote Ugly.
I was like, stop.
he actually named that. I didn't know what the name was.
Oh, wow.
How's that a teen movie?
That's not a teen movie. That's
I've
not
never
even.
seen it.
That's
I've
not
That's
a teen
not a
movie.
teen
What's that
movie.
about? I've never seen it.
It takes place in a bar. That's not a teen movie.
That's what it
Yeah, bar
says.
dancers.
Yeah.
By the way,
What
look
team
at this documentary on YouTube. It's very cool. It's the Superman movie that never was. It's Kevin
Yes,
Smith.
Nicolas Cage, yeah.
Kevin
yes,
Smith.
yes.
He's gonna play. He wrote
Was it the Nicolas Cage one? All right.
Yes.
the Death of Superman
Superman
Lives.
Lives.
Like Nicolas Cage was gonna play
He
Superman.
had long hair. And
Yeah,
then
dude.
weird costume.
And
Yeah, I
just
saw the
like
whole-
Jeremy mentioned it earlier, like the producers basically just stepped in and says, "I want a giant spider. I want Spider-Man. I want Superman to fight a giant spider. I want." Like he started throwing random shit, and that's when Kevin Smith backed out. He's
I
like,
love the payoff to that story where it's
That would've
like,
been
yeah, and then I was
interesting,
sitting in the theater watching Wild Wild West, and then this big spider at the end comes out. That's funny.
and it bombed.
And
Yeah.
Oh, man, bad.
And I remember
There's a lot of films like that Kevin Smith was gonna make. There was a lot of films that Kevin Smith was gonna make that didn't come into fruition because if you guys don't know, he directed for The Flash, he directed for Supergirl,
Wasn't he supposed to do like Green Hornet?
Green Lantern.
Or Green Lantern?
He wrote a few
And
Green
Green
Lantern
Hornet,
comics.
Should have, man. That one
Oh, yeah?
And Green Hornet. He had a script.
He had a few Green Lantern comics. He wrote
Really?
comic books for Marvel.
He
Like
should've
Kevin
known,
Smith
damn.
has written comic books
He even wrote his
for
own.
DC.
No,
for
he even
DC.
didn't he? Well, yeah, when he took a shot at the. Oh, dude, I love how
he wrote a great storyline for Daredevil, Guardian Devil.
Really? Oh, I
Yeah.
heard he has a good.
Oh, he's done Marvel too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Read Guardian Devil. It's a great storyline.
Yeah, he's a great
I've
comic book
never
writer.
read a
He
Kevin
owns a
Smith
comic
comic
book
book.
shop, man.
Of
like, in
course.
Jersey.
Really? Okay.
Marvel just needs to bring him in to do one.
And
That's what I've been
Arrow,
saying. He
Green
needs to do an MCU film. I think he'd do
Hornet and
great.
Arrow.
He-
Well, he's doing Howard the Duck for Hulu with the guy who created
Oh my
1900
gosh.
Oh, wow.
yeah, he's also
that's
doing
gonna be
He-Man.
So good.
He's doing
Yeah.
He-Man.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
doing He-Man, like the reboot.
Oh
for
yeah,
He-Man.
he is. Yeah, he's doing a lot
Dude.
more work. I think that's cool,
Oh, yeah.
man. Yeah.
Who better? Yeah.
Honestly.
It's gonna
Honestly,
be good.
I think that plug they gave him in Captain Marvel, like I assume producers think that way. Oh, okay.
I think it's the hard work he'd been doing on the CW, man, because his
Oh,
episodes are the best.
true.
His episodes are the best of the season. Yes.
Yeah.
And then he did
Good
the
episodes.
Crisis on the Universe ones, right? I think he did the.
Did he do that?
when they all connect?
Oh,
I think he
really?
did one of them. 'Cause there's like
okay,
three.
okay.
Crisis on
Ooh.
Infinite Earth or whatever. Yeah.
Yo,
Like,
okay.
dude, yeah, his episodes are the best in those shows, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
I think that wraps it up, you guys. This is a fun
Nice little
episode. Hey,
chat.
yeah,
Any plugs? Any
Now it's time
plugs?
to plug in.
Start with
Plugs?
Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy.
I know you guys have a couple of plugs. Blast them off.
Ooh, he's got a big old list.
Dude, this guy came prepared, man.
I
The
like
first
that.
guy to come prepared.
I like. Actually, yeah, true.
Yeah, man.
True.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel where I do funny impressions and funny.
He's a voice
So
guy.
that's where
He's
I can
the
find
voice
your
guy.
I do funny impressions
Okay.
Funny how? Like funnier.
and funny film reviews.
Interesting.
And I'm starting a podcast with my brother.
What is it about? What's it gonna be about?
It's pop culture stuff,
Nice. What's it called?
nerd
Shooting
stuff.
the shit about.
It's going to be called Penny Tolerable,
Penny Tolerable. Okay.
like Penny Dreadful, Penny Tolerable.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
And I believe you can find both of them. You can find the YouTube channel on YouTube, and you can find the podcast on SoundCloud. I believe you can find them under Ringo Phonebonius Jones.
Nice.
If you need that spelled,
Yeah, repeat it and yeah.
it's Ringo, like Ringo Starr, Phonebonius, Phonebonius, then Jones.
Nice.
Hey, peace out.
Brandon?
Hey, coming up, anything?
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Actually, yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Hey, real quick, is it true we're gonna
My
be?
birthday.
Wait, what? Really?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Happy
Today?
birthday!
Oh, Christmas Eve.
Oh no! I'm taking back my
happy
happy
birthday,
birthday.
Brandon.
No.
Happy birthday.
Thank you guys.
No problem.
There's an old.
This is future me telling future you happy birthday.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah,
There's- It's interesting. I always call Brandon an almost werewolf because there's an old bit of folklore where if you're born on Christmas, it's considered an affront to Jesus, and therefore you're cursed with lycanthropy.
I'm
So
not a werewolf.
you're an almost werewolf. We're not werewolves.
Which is
we're
funny because
werewolves.
that's what a werewolf would want us to think that you're not one.
An American werewolf in
Hey. A Mexican American werewolf.
Hey.
Whoa!
I like that. That's the next one.
Yeah,
The sequel.
Good stuff.
Anything else? I do have something to plug. I do have an edit I made for Kevin Smith for my mixtape 113 on YouTube. If you guys want to see that, it's off the Gorilla song "We Got the Power," and I used that Clerks documentary as like a music video. I made it off of that. But if anyone's interested, it's a huge love letter to Kevin Smith, and I love the song. It's a good song.
Yeah.
Guys, please make sure to tag Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier in this on Instagram, on Twitter. Share the links on Twitter. Tag them on Instagram. Just let them know what we're doing and let them know we're talking about
It's
them.
Carlos. Remember Kevin?
Yeah, you remember me from.
And I saw you in Modesto, and it was awesome.
Yeah, so please, if you're watching
All
this,
these
please
guys,
make sure
these
to
are
tag and
fascinating.
share and tag Kevin Smith in this so you
Okay.
can check it out.
Also, just remember that the TowerCast is on every podcast platform
They're like, oh no,
and
man.
YouTube.
They're like, oh no.
So please check us out. TowerCast, Tower Productions
fucks with it, man.
YouTube page.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen to Jesus and Mary. That's all it is.
And leave a 5-star review.
Please
Yeah.
leave a
So-
5-star review.
I think that wraps it up for this film reel right here. You guys, thank you so much for joining us at the TowerCast Podcast HQ.
Thank you,
we
guys.
love you. Keep watching your movies. Keep writing your movies. And remember, we believe in you. Anything else?
And as usual, stay tuned for the next episode.
Stay tuned.
Snoochie
wait, wait,
Boochies.
We're going on break.
2-week break.
And we're gonna be on a 2-week break. So enjoy your Christmas. Merry Christmas. You
Yeah,
guys.
Merry Christmas.
And watch Rise of
Christmas.
Skywalker.
Thank you for the director for coming.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Snoochie Boochies and Snoogans.